Hey guys, good morning. Today I want to do a video on what qualifications you need for coaching and really about like this confidence piece and when a lot of us are getting started, how we don't feel confident and we're wondering, do I know enough? Do I have enough certifications? Do I need to do more? Do I need to do more training? And I find that this can really hold a lot of people back. And I've heard this coming up so much this week, especially from people like asking me questions like, what certifications do you need? Do I know enough? And so I want to address this because I think it's helpful to know and to kind of know, from my experience, I've been doing this. I've worked with lots of coaches, like really what I do think is necessary to be a good coach and get good results with people. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So what qualifications do you really need? And this is what I find happens is when a lot of coaches are getting started, and they might be especially getting to the part of starting their business, like all of these questions and fears start popping up around like, do I know enough? Do I have enough qualifications? Are people going to start asking me like, what kind of training do you have? And will I really be able to help people get results? And kind of this, hey, Eliza, I'm so glad you're here, sunshine. Hey, thank you for joining. And so like a lot of this fear around like, what are other people going to think? Are my clients going to ask me like, what training do you have? Do you really know enough? Can you really help me? And we start really questioning this ourselves and getting worried about this, like kind of really help people get results. Do I really have enough qualifications? And so like I hear this all the time. So if you're experiencing that, like please know that you're not alone. But I want to share with you like from my experience, like what I really do think you need as far as like training and certifications and really like what I think is important to be a good coach and to help people get results, because that's really what matters. And degrees and certifications and trainings like don't necessarily make any difference. Like really what the bottom line is like, can you be a good coach and can you really help people get results? Oh, thank you, Eliza. That's so nice. I love that. Yeah, it's nice and sunny here today. I'm loving it. It's warm. We're kind of going back and forth between like fall weather and summer weather. Today we're back into summer, which is nice. Like it's nice and sunny and warm. So for you guys probably know like a little bit about my background as far as I am trained as a chiropractor and I did a lot of work around like functional medicine and nutrition. And so I had that background before I was starting my business. And so I did not do a coach training certification or a health coaching certification. So I didn't do that, but I already knew a lot about like health and wellness, and I had already been working with people and patients and clients. And so I had that background. I didn't feel like it was necessary. And I would say the same thing to anyone who's in a health background or like a mental health background, or you've been working with people in that capacity, that it isn't necessary to do some sort of like a health coach training unless you feel like you need to know more about like additional areas. If for example like you have a background in nursing or something that's more of like a traditional medical field and you want to help people more holistically, like it could be beneficial to do some training around that if you don't feel like you know it at all, or you really haven't done much, training or learning on that. But on the other hand, if you have gone through your own transformation and have learned a lot through that process, I think that alone can be enough to really allow you to help other people very effectively. Because truly like there's kind of two ways that we learn, right? Like we learn through going through school or trainings or certifications, but we also learn through life experience. And what I can tell you from doing lots of schooling, like I've been in school, I did school for, college for 8 years, you know what I mean? Because of going on and becoming a chiropractor and getting that doctorate. And so really what I learned through all of that is that education like is great, and like learning is great. But going to school and learning things intellectually is very different than actually applying things to your life and creating an amazing life for you or helping other people do that. And so I really saw this just through everything that I learned. That I was like, oh, okay, I can get good grades and know all this stuff intellectually, but when it comes to actually like really helping people and making a big difference, I don't think that, just learning like, all this stuff from like textbook stuff necessarily helps you create a better life or create changes in your life or help other people. And that's why I really say, like, I think that your own experience is so valuable, and truly like so much more powerful as far as being able to help other people make changes in their life as well. Because I mean, we probably know there's a lot of people that can be really, textbook smart, quote unquote, but maybe aren't necessarily super good at their career or their job, or good at life in general, or have good health. There's a lot of doctors out there that are not healthy themselves, right? So I think it's just good to kind of like really like look at these things, because in society, like we really have this feeling, or this kind of been taught that, degrees and education is so important. And like I said, I'm not saying any of that's bad. Like I still think it's good, but like I don't think it's what is really helps us be the best at our career or job or helping other people. And so I think it's just good to be able to see beyond that, and kind of beyond like what the expectations and kind of, what society puts the importance on, and like, having certain degrees or, going to certain schools, and really like what really actually helps us create a better life. Because we don't really learn any life stuff in school as far as the things that actually really contribute to being healthy, both mentally and physically, and even things around like money and relationships, any of that stuff. Like that's really what helps us create good health and a beautiful life. But we don't really learn any of that in school. So I think it's important to like see the difference between this. Is this making sense to you guys? And let me know if you have any questions specifically. Fabiola. Hey, Fabiola. Let me see what your question is. Yeah, very good thing to know, to have a base of where to start. There are so many areas. Yeah. So, and this is what I'd say. If you're trying to figure out, like, do I need to do more training or certification? Think about, like, what it is that you want to be helping people with. And do you feel that you could help people with that now? Do you feel like if you've been through a journey yourself that you could walk someone else through that? Or do you really feel that you need some additional training? And if you do need additional training, what specifically do you need to know more about? Is it actually like how to coach people? Is it more on the health side, if you're interested in that? On the mental health side, like what specifically is it that you feel that you need to know more about? Because if you don't know that, then it can just be really that maybe you don't need to know more, but that's actually coming from fear, right? So it's going to be very normal that fear is going to pop up, and you're going to start getting these questions and really these statements from your brain about not knowing enough, about needing more training, about needing to do more courses, because that's your brain's way of trying to stop you from moving forward with your business, because our brain always wants us to stay the same, right? So our brain is always trying to keep us safe, trying to keep us, and it sees safe as staying the same. And so anytime that we're going to want to try to start something new, like a business, It's going to start like firing all these messages like you don't know enough, you haven't done enough training, you need to go and learn more, like people aren't going to trust you, they're going to start asking you about your certifications, like all this, mumbo jumbo that your brain is going to shoot out. So I think to be aware of that, because otherwise you can get stuck in this cycle of always learning more, always doing more trainings, but never actually moving forward with your business and never actually helping people and applying what you've even learned. And so I think it's really important to be aware of that. And I just want to give you, Debbie, let me see what you're saying. Feel that we have to make ourselves more relatable if you show your client that you are applying your methods to your own life. Yeah, this is the thing. Like what your clients are really going to care about is that you can help them get the results and that you've done it yourself, right? Like, so I really think like we are, and I won't say like an example, but really kind of like an example of what's possible for our clients. Right. And so it really is about that. Like, I think we're kind of changing, like with the internet and with more information available to all of us, like we're getting more self-educated about like what really matters, what the truth is. We're questioning authority. And so we're starting to see like the truth that it isn't all about like, who has the most authority in education. But really it's about like, can these people really apply this to their own life and get the results? And I think as being like an example to people and what's possible, and if you really believe like you've gotten results in your own life and you've helped, other people, or you really believe and know that you can help other people, that's what's really important. And just from doing so much training on nutrition and health, and I've done a lot over the years, like I started to see that when it came to actually helping people and helping people with their health, that it came down to the simple things, right? Like some people really don't know much about nutrition and health and wellness, but when it comes down to like helping people make those changes and improve their health, it really comes down to like the simple things, right? Like eat real food and don't eat packaged stuff. And so where most people really get stuck is like actually making these changes. It isn't necessarily about the information. Like you can give that to people pretty easily and truly people can find it online. But it's about like, how do I actually start making these changes in our own life? Because just like you, as far as making the change of starting your business, like you're going to get all this resistance around it. Because it's doing something differently. It's the same thing when people start making changes in their life, whether it's in, health related or mental health related. Like anytime someone's going to start making changes, they're going to get all this resistance and fear popping up. And that's really what we're able to help other people with, is figuring out like, it's not just about like educating them and giving them all this information and telling them like the scientific facts behind everything. Most people don't care about that stuff. Like they just want to know, like, help me. They know the result they want, right? They know what they want to be different. And they're just like, help me make these changes. I want this result. Can you help me do that? And they don't really care about getting all this information. They just want you to help them make those changes in their life. And that's where coaching really shines and where it's so powerful and where it stands apart from, working with a medical doctor or working with, even like a psychiatrist. It's really around like action based and how do you apply this to your life? And that's the most powerful thing ever. That's how you make any changes in your life, is by actually applying it. It's not by learning. It's not by more education. It's by application and taking action. And so as coaches, like that's our specialty and where we really help people. Oh my gosh, Debbie, that's amazing. What you've been through as far as your own medical journey. And it's super inspiring. Like the more that I think you can share what you've been through and your experiences, you start to see that so many people relate to that. And I think that's really, really amazing. And it's once again, like what I think coaching really stands out as, because we're speaking the truth, we're being relatable, we're telling people, I've been through the same things. And that's what people want. People want to feel seen, heard, understood. They want someone to be on their team. They want someone to hold their hand and walk them through the process. You don't get that in the medical field. You don't get that in the mental health field either. And so like coaching is just amazing in that way. And the other thing that I want to mention too, as far as like thinking like you always need to do more training, is that you can always work, especially when it comes to like medical issues, always keep in mind that you can work as a partner with your clients and with other medical doctors, or holistic practitioners, or whoever it is that you feel like your client would also benefit from working with. So if I was ever working with someone who had complicated medical conditions, even when I was working as like a chiropractor and a functional medicine practitioner, I always recommended that they checked in with their medical doctor about anything that we were doing, and especially if it came to like getting off a medication or even like lab work and that type of stuff. Like I knew how to look at labs and stuff, but even that, like it wasn't necessarily my specialty or what I really want to be doing. And so I would, refer people to other practitioners to work with as well while we were working together. So you don't need to take it all on yourself. Don't take responsibility for things or do things with your clients that you don't feel comfortable with. Like your role is as the coach, and you don't need to do it all. Your client can work with a team as well, depending on what it is that you guys are working on. Yeah, Eliza, for sure. Like you have an amazing personal transformation as well, and that is what makes all the difference as far as you being able to help people. Like that is for sure the most powerful thing. Let me see what else, you guys. Yeah, Debbie, you've worked in healthcare for 8 years and see so many conditions that could have been prevented if people had known how. And that's absolutely true. The unfortunate thing is, as humans and human nature, that we don't typically take action or want to make changes. Once again, this goes back to the brain not wanting to change, until we have a problem, right? So, and you can even think about this for yourself. Like you probably didn't make any changes in your life as far as your health or as far as like mental health stuff until you had a problem, right? And so we can educate on prevention like all day long, and I don't think it's like bad or a lost effort, but for most people they're not going to really make serious changes in their life until they kind of hit that rock bottom, or they have this big problem that's like, I need to make changes, I need to do things differently, and that's just kind of human nature. But we can keep this in mind as far as like health coaches, like who were best health coaches or coaches in general who are best able to help is really people who've kind of hit that rock bottom or really have a problem, because that's when people are willing to change. When it comes to prevention, it's hard to like work with people on that level because they're not necessarily always ready to make changes. People have to have some sort of motivation typically to do that. That isn't like an absolute 100% rule, but mostly. And if you're looking to make a profit and work with people who are willing to pay you to help them, you really need to be working with people that have some sort of a problem, because those are the people that are going to be willing to invest. So let me know if that makes sense to you guys, and if you guys have any other questions about certifications and what you need to know, or if you feel like you're getting stuck as far as your mind kind of telling you don't know enough, and I want to talk a little bit about that too, is like when you're starting something new, you're always going to feel that way because it's totally new to you. I remember going through chiropractic school, and I didn't graduate, but we started the part where we were doing like student clinic and working with actual like patients. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm not ready for this. Like I don't know what I'm doing. And I can guarantee you, like everyone feels that way when they're first starting anything. If you think about any job you've done, like any new skill that you've tried to do, like in the beginning, you just feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what to expect. And that's just totally normal. And the thing is, you just got to dive into it. And the way that we get good at doing anything, and the way that we feel confident at doing anything, is by doing it, right? And I think about even like surgeons or something, when they're first getting started, I can guarantee you, like, it's kind of like, what am I doing? And it's just through like doing it over and over and over again. Everything is a practice and a skill that we get confident and that we feel good and that we feel comfortable with. So it's totally normal to feel like, do I know enough? And, am I really ready to get started when you're starting anything, and especially a business, because you're learning, there's so many new things that go into starting a business. So the business side of things, and then if you're doing the coaching too, like the coaching side of things. So it's all new. So be okay with feeling unsure about things and not totally knowing, and having a little bit like, do I really know enough? And am I really going to help people? Like, it's totally normal to feel that way when you're starting something new. So don't allow that to stop you from moving forward. Hey, Maggie. So glad you're here. So I think I covered everything that I wanted to talk about. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. If you catch the replay, let me know. But I think that really answers the biggest questions I get around, what certifications do you need? Do I have enough training? It really depends on the person. If you have, specific questions about that, feel free to ask them below this video, and I'm happy to kind of tell you what I think from what I've seen in my experience. Fabiola, I love your name. You find that lots of certifications. So my recommendations, as far as like, it depends on if you want to really get into like mind, body, soul, and kind of like the whole holistic side of things. Then I think, doing a certification that is more of like a general health coaching certification would be good. I know that there's a number of different ones. It really depends on what you're looking for. What I would do is, in the group, just say, kind of what you're most interested in learning about, and ask people what they recommend. Because there's a lot of people in my Facebook group who, and if you're not in there, join. And I can put a link, but there's a lot of people in there have done different trainings. We actually have a conversation going right now. Someone was asking about this. So I really think the best certification is going to depend on what it is that you're wanting to help people with, and what you feel like you need to know more about specifically. So like IIN is a big one, Health Coach Institute is a big one, but there's a lot of other ones too. So it really depends on what you're looking for. Let me see if there's anything else I want to add. Yeah, so if you find, like, I love working on the mindset piece of things with people and really helping you feel more confident and clear about what you're offering. And if you're in a place where you're ready to start your business, you've either done a training or you have the background and you're like, yes, I'm ready to get going, start getting paying clients, that's really where I can help you. And I find that the clarity and the confidence that people get through the work that we do together, as far as working on your business, getting really clear on who you're working with, what the program is that you're offering, what the pricing is, like these little pieces can really keep us stuck when we don't know them. And so that's really what I help people with the work that we do together, as far as getting really clear on all these pieces moving forward. Like, how do you do calls with people, like even things around like coaching and how to be a good coach, and all those little pieces. Like, that's really what I help people with, as far as getting really clear about the business piece and how to get started. And so if that is something you feel stuck with, or you feel like you could really benefit from more clarity and more of a plan, I'd love to speak with you about that. I will put a link. You can sign up for a call with me, and I'd love to help you with that. So because I think that that's really where a lot of people get stuck is really on the business side of things, even more so than on the actual coaching side of things. And that really makes us question our actual ability to coach is actually more related to like the business and how do I do certain things and who am I really helping and, what does my program look like? All those pieces. Fabiola. So you're already a health coach. I will send you the link for the group. And yeah, so I guess if you're already a health coach, do you really need more certifications and do you really need more training? I mean, it's just a question to look into, and truly you may really benefit from it. Or can you get started in your business? And the other thing that I really find too is that once you've gotten started in your business and you're actually working in your business and working with people, that I think it becomes a lot more clear. Like if you do want to do additional training, you already have like, enough that you, like a baseline, but you want to do additional training maybe in specialty areas, it becomes a lot more clear like where you would want to do training in and what you're most interested in after you've been working with some people, so that you better understand from your experience, like, oh, I really like helping people around this area. And so it'd be good to do this additional training. But in the beginning, like, I think having kind of like a baseline so that you're ready to get started, but not doing all these additional trainings. Because most of us really like learning and always improving and, self-improvement and learning more, and that's great. But it's not great if it keeps you from actually helping people and keeps you from putting yourself out there and actually starting your business and getting clients. Maggie, thank you. I love that. So yeah, Fabiola, I'll talk to you in the group and you can, put specifically what you're looking for and see what people recommend. But I would check in with like, am I really ready to get started, or is this fear popping in, or would I benefit from more training with what it is I want to help people with? So, all right, guys, if you catch the replay and you have questions, let me know. Thank you, everyone who joined me live. I love talking about all this stuff with you guys. If you have any additional questions you're wondering about or areas where you're getting stuck, let me know, because I love to have topics to create more videos on. So thank you for the love, Maggie. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.